So, yeah, like I said before, it's been a pretty crazy week, and a lot of things have happened since the last time that I streamed in relation to what I talked about last week, the whole TwitchCon incident. Some other things happened that kind of pushed me to talk about a lot of things that I want to talk about today. So, as you can see, I wrote out my notes, and not only that, I have even more notes. So, yeah, if it seems like I'm, like, reading a script or something, it's because I wrote super detailed notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So, I think everyone knows about last week, the stuff that happened at TwitchCon. I was assaulted, and the guy was able to leave the venue, basically. Okay, so like intro, first thing that I want to talk about is I did see the Twitch tweet that I believe went out yesterday. I was literally in a Discord call with my friends, and they were like, "Did you see that Twitch apologized to you?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is they put out that tweet. I was never apologized to privately. They put that out without like consulting me or anything. I didn't know that they were gonna do that, so that was yeah. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, they're trying to like take some level of accountability, but there's a lot of things that they didn't mention in the tweet that I feel.
To the people posting about Cuco's message, I want to go in order. So I want to let I want to let Emiru speak, and then maybe we can watch Ms. Kip's response, and then we can go through everything else.
Like, should have been mentioned. But anyway, more stuff's been happening behind the scenes. So, I want to say that last week, everything I said on my stream was accurate, obviously, except for one thing. I was wrong about one thing. I was going over the tweet that Twitch initially put out, where they're like, "Oh yeah, this thing happened to a high-profile creator. You know, police were on site. We're cooperating with law enforcement investigations." What I was wrong about was they were not cooperating with law enforcement investigations. I found that out on Monday when I got a phone call from the San Diego police, and they were talking to me, and they basically said, "Hey, we can't really do anything right now because they apparently know the name of the guy, but they're not giving it to us until a warrant goes through." Which, if you know anything about that stuff, it usually takes a while. Even, you know, if it's expedited, which it was being expedited for me, but it still takes a lot of time. And they're like, yeah, they're refusing to give us the name, which, as far as I'm aware, is like a very common company thing, where they'll be, you know, they don't want to give out names of potential people involved in crimes, because then like that person could maybe like sue them for giving their name to police. I don't know, something like that. That's what my lawyer said. But basically, they were Twitch was trying to make sure that the guy that assaulted me didn't sue them, which meant that the police were not able to work on the case right away. So yeah, I got a call about that on, I believe it was Monday, from the San Diego police. They were like, "Yeah, we're working on the warrant, but like right now, that's like all we can really do, but like we're trying our best, just like want to let you know, we're gonna keep in the loop and everything." I was like, okay. I was very frustrated because I was like, damn, like I didn't know that on Saturday. I would have said that if I knew. And then I believe it was the next day, there was someone who, I don't know if they were a viewer or if they were just someone who like knew of the situation from social media. They contacted my manager, and they basically told her that at their place of work, someone came into their work who matched the description of the guy, and this person was saying like, "Oh, I'm, you know, traveling to Texas, and I caused like quite a stir at a TwitchCon." And this person, like, you know, reached out to my manager, reached out to police, San Diego police interviewed them. But basically what I'm trying to say is, because all this stuff was delayed, this guy was able to get really far away from San Diego, allegedly.
For anyone who missed it, she's talking about her experience with this fucking freak who sexually assaulted her at TwitchCon. And let me see if I can find this. Twitch put out a statement. Finally, after like, here's my 2 cents. This is my opinion. You can have a different opinion. That's fine. I'm just This is just what it looks like from where I'm standing. I like Taylor Lorenz. I think she tries really hard to make the space better, and I think she tries really hard to do real journalism. I think her coverage on the dark money org that was paying out the fucking David Pakmans was really good. I thought that was really good reporting on all of that. I thought it was all very respectful, and I think it was all very responsible. And the fact that she made sure to reach out to comment from all these people, and all of them were like, I don't give a shit. And then once the story started picking up, they were like, wait, we want to comment. We want to comment. We're not going to disagree with anything you said, but we want to comment. So, like, I think generally she does do good reporting, and she talks a lot about misogyny in the online spaces and how it impacts creators and how it impacts both female and male creators and how it makes spaces unsafe. And I think generally overall her work is beneficial online. What I will say is her interview with Dan Clancy was, in my opinion, bad. Not because Taylor did anything wrong, not because her reporting is bad, because she's a bad journalist or whatever. But like, holy shit, that interview did not make Dan Clancy look good, and it did not make Twitch look good. It made them look unbelievably incompetent. It made Twitch look so incompetent. Like, it was not good. It was not a good interview. It was not a good interview. And like this, to be clear, like Taylor Lorenz is someone who takes harassment online very seriously. She takes sexual harassment and like just in general harassment against women very seriously. Like if there was anyone that takes it seriously, it's her. So at no point does she try and like downplay what happened to Emiru, but a lot of people perceived her just like talking to Dan Clancy as doing that because her experience as a journalist was that like certain areas had such tight security for no fucking reason, and then other areas had no security. So like it was not a good interview for Twitch. Like, I think it made Twitch look really incompetent. Her newer video with Kat about women in the space is also really good. Yep. Because her opinion on this stuff is very well grounded because she personally deals with so many, stalkers and freaks and all this stuff. And so much like misogyny in the space. But Twitch decided initially after everything happened with Emiru, they were like, who's ready for TwitchCon Day 2? Yeah, let's go, gamers. And it's like, what the fuck? Oh my god. And they were like, anyways, we had a little oopsie. Sorry, we had a little oopsie. Have fun for the rest of the convention. It's like, what the hell? Sorry, we had a little oopsie. But just no more +1s for the meet and greets. It was so tone deaf. It was really bad. And then eventually, after they saw the shitstorm, which I feel like sometimes you can't tell when something is going to explode. So like, if you had asked me if there was a Polymarket bet immediately after Kaya yelped on stream, was this going to be a new news cycle for the next 3 weeks? I would have bet all my money on no, because it's so stupid. It's such a hyper focusing on like there are so many different levels of insanity you have to go through to believe that Hassan shocked his dog. It's like, yeah, well, you have to like hyper contrast this, and then there's tape, but then this person says that there isn't tape, but then this person says that there is tape, and then this person said that there was, and now they're saying that there isn't. And he reaches over on the side for something. And everybody knows when dogs yelp, they've never, ever, 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 ever just yelped for attention, ever, in the history of ever. It's like, so much of it was like so fucking stupid that if you told me, was that going to blow up? I would have been like, no, just ignore it. Because it's done by bad faith actors who admit that they have bad faith methods. One of your most famous streamers getting sexually assaulted at her meet and greet and then walking off with no repercussions except a little 30-day ban. Hello? I could have told you within 10 seconds that would have been a major story and you had to take it seriously. Hello? And so Twitch did finally put out a statement, and they said, this is from Dan Clancy. It's signed by Dan Clancy at the end. It says, first, I want to be upfront, take accountability for the security incident that occurred at Emiru's meet and greet. It shouldn't have happened. We take that very seriously. We failed, both in allowing it to occur and in our response following. And I said this already yesterday, where like, the reality is, if a crazy person, if like a crazy psychopath that has this insane like perception of the world and they think that you're dating or whatever, they go through all the right checks, and they're like, they sign up for the RSVP, and they sign up and they do the background check and they wait in line for 2 hours, and then they do that. Twitch reasonably can't do anything about a psychopath signing up for your RSVP and agreeing to do a background check. They're like, if you understand what I'm saying, you understand. At that point, someone who waited in line for 2 hours and was cleared to be there, if they misbehave, Twitch can't really, it's not like they can vet it's not like they can read your intentions of what you're going to do at the meet and greet. But the fact that he didn't do all of that stuff, because the point of that, like that 2-hour wait and the signing up, is that it like weeds out a lot of the crazy people, right? Because someone can't just show up. It's the same purpose of like 24 or 48-hour wait periods on like buying a gun. It's that the process of doing these things makes you realize what you're doing, and then it makes you more normal. You're like, wait, whoa, 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 what the fuck am I doing? Actually, wait. You like have like one good ice cream, and you're like, life is still worth living. I should be normal. And so it's a way to like help funnel out some of the insane people. Doesn't mean it's impossible to happen. Even with the best security in the world, it can still happen, right? Because someone can still do all the right checks and balances, or go through all the right checks or whatever. But the fact that he was able to just like storm over to her, and that there's no one there to stop, like there should be still like Twitch, even if someone wants to hire their own security, Twitch should still have security at the front of the line. Twitch should have security at all the entrances and exits. Like Twitch should be doing that. But the worst part about all of this on Twitch's part was the fact that he wasn't immediately detained after that. That he wasn't stopped and told, no, yeah, what are you, crazy? You think we're just going to let you fucking leave? We have you on recording sexually assaulting this woman, and you are not cleared to be there or doing that. She doesn't know you. You're going to stay right here until we figure out whether or not she wants to call the police on you. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. We'll just let you go so you can get a knife and come kill our fucking creators. Yeah, that sounds like a really smart idea. Like there should have been security on every entrance and every exit that should have stopped him, at the very least, on the way out. Just letting him walk away is insane. And I don't know if it makes me a selfish, vapid cunt. I would not have continued the meet and greet at that point, because I would have been afraid that guy would have just went and got a knife and come back and tried to stab me. I would have been like, I'm really sorry. Like, I will make it up to everyone who showed up and everyone who waited so long. Like, I feel bad. I'll send all of you like gifts or something, because I feel bad that you waited, but I'm concerned for my safety. Like, I'm sorry. That guy just literally walked off and no one stopped him. And that she continued anyway is like crazy. Like that's trooper behavior to me. Like I would not have been able to. Like I would not have been able to. If they had detained him, it would have been like, oh, okay, sure. What was I talking about? Right. So let's continue the statement. They say, we mismanaged the communications about the incident, and that includes comments that I made. I apologize to Emiru for all that took place. What are we doing moving forward for meet and greets? We've begun a complete analysis of the incident that took place, as well as other issues that came to our attention after TwitchCon concluded. We're examining everything from how we do signups to the layout to increase security controls. And in my opinion, this is like the most important part. The layout of the meet and greet sections should be like locked the fuck down. So I know conventions, especially like Anime Expo, any conventions that have like 18 plus sections, because there's going to be a lot of people that go to conventions that are obviously under 18, but then they have like, you know, like the hentai artists or whatever. You can't just have like porn plastered all over Anime Expo. So they take all the gooners and they like seclude them, and there's like security outside of this. There's like paneling. I don't understand these people. What a leech. This is already covered, you grifter. I've been shitting on Miskit for being a total fucking sack of shit for years now. This is in line with everything that I've ever said and ever done. Keep defending Miskit, bro. Keep it up, Miskit. Keep it up. For sure. Keep defending your guy, bro. For sure. He definitely didn't do that shit, man. For sure. No, it's just that everyone who ever meets him thinks that he's a massive piece of shit. But it's definitely not him. It's got to be everybody else, for sure. Fucking pathetic. But yeah, like, if you go to expos or you go to conventions that have like 18 plus areas, that shit is like guarded the fuck up. They take that shit very seriously. There's like the like tall paneling, and there's clear entrances and exits, and there's security by those entrances and exits, which is how the meet and greet should be. You shouldn't be able to just like waltz into the meet and greet. Straight to Gooner jail? Yeah, dude, you get like stopped trying to get into Gooner jail. You get stopped trying to get out of Gooner jail. And that's how it should be. Like, it shouldn't have this like lackadaisical fucking vibe to going and meeting these creators, right? If you care about their safety. So anyways, we're doing a comprehensive review of overall event safety, security, and we'll be making updates for future TwitchCons. While we won't be sharing our security updates for privacy and safety reasons, we will keep our communities informed about changes that directly impact attendees. The only adjustment I would make that Dan Clancy should have put in here would have been, we're also going to be speaking to any creators that are still willing to speak to us about what they wish we had done differently. Because Emiru at one point says that like Neon just like walked into her meet and greet. And then there's that clip of Neon pretending to be some other creator, and he just like sits by that meet and greet desk. It's like, how the fuck is it so, how is this so poorly organized that like people could just walk in from like the back? Also, can I just be honest really quickly? Ban Neon, dude. Oh my God. He's just there as an agitator. The rule should be if you are doing IRL streaming just for the purpose of agitating, you shouldn't be allowed in the event. And he was there to agitate. If you're there to agitate, he did like 5 different things that should have gone in banned and no one banned him. Like, what the fuck? Hello? Twitch wants content, but there's a way to have content without having it be like whatever the fuck that is. So anywho, we've had concerns about IRL streaming at TwitchCon. Twitch has evolved over the years. IRL streaming is part of Twitch, but we need to ensure TwitchCon meets the needs of a variety of participants. We will be reviewing how we handle IRL streaming at TwitchCon. I think the easiest way to handle this is just like you have designated zones for IRL streaming and you have designated not streaming zones, which is what they kind of currently have, but the zones should just be bigger for non-IRL streaming. Because I think everyone who goes to TwitchCon expects to be that there are going to be streamers that are streaming, but like more of the convention floor should just be IRL streaming free. Because, like, you can't stream in the partner lounge and, like, the partner plus lounge or whatever. You can't stream there, which is reasonable. Because you don't want people, like, the purpose of the partner lounge is to have people go and, like, chillax and not have to worry about anything and not have to worry about being approached or whatever and decompress. So you don't want to have, you know, or maybe, like, you have to apply to stream. That would also be a good one. And then they only have, like, a designated, like, 100 or 200 streamers or something like that. Why? So apparently, like, a lot of people were IRL streaming and a lot of people were kind of, like, being dicks about it. Like Neon, for example. Like, Neon was just, like, literally walking up to people, agitating, pretending like it was his meet and greet at different booths. Like, it was not good. What happened to listening fully to Emiru and not stopping a lot? Okay, wait. To be clear, that I was talking about when her talking about everything related to Mizkif. I didn't know because I hadn't seen this part of the video or this part of the stream that she talked about the TwitchCon stuff. So I wanted to cover it briefly because it is important. TLDR, this was a mostly pretty good statement, but holy shit, this needed to be the first thing that happened. Like, the fact that they didn't release this statement immediately and instead they released a bunch of other fucking tweets and then they went and Dan Clancy went and did that interview that was not a good look for Twitch. It was so bad. If they had released this statement immediately, I think people would have been a lot less mad. People still would have been mad, obviously, but I think people would have been a lot less mad. But the fact that this is so late. So, anywho. Yeah, I think she talks about TwitchCon in San Diego and talking about this stalker and dealing with the cops with regard to this stalker and this abuser, or sorry, not abuser, assaulter for like the next 40-ish minutes. And if you guys are interested, please go watch her video and you can hear her talk about it. I've already said that, like, I think it's insane that Twitch didn't immediately, like, stop him from exiting the premise. Like, it's crazy to me that they just let him walk out. So, yeah.
Twitch video, not me, and I was...
Oh, I think this is... Wait, 1 second, sorry. Go to her VOD. So I think this starts here.
And just, you know, I would just carry them myself. Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Ms. Kiff has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I've attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue and just not make it a public thing. I always tried my best to keep this to myself, but like I said, I feel like it's gone to the point, which I'll explain later, that I feel like it just has to be done. And I have always believed in not condemning people or starting drama online. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking, why am I doing this and why now? And I would like to explain that before I get started so that people understand what prompted me to do this today and that it's not just on a whim or something like that. Okay, so like I said, I took a lot of notes, so forgive me if I just end up reading off my notes. The first and probably most severe reason is that one of the rules that I set for myself a long time ago about withholding this information was that if I ever felt like somebody else was in danger or being hurt, I would then make myself speak about it. And 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now, I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident, that he had done something similar to something that he had done to me and to someone in LA at the end of September. And this person is not a streamer or content creator, but obviously that does not matter. And because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything. I think that most issues and dramas should stay private and off the internet. And I still hold that belief to this day, and I will hold that belief going forward. However, there are certain things that cross the line, and I say that the line has been crossed too many times to be count. There's a point where I believe that people deserve to know. I think that at a certain point, if you know a lot of things about someone and you don't say anything to look out for others, it's wrong. It's wrong to keep it to yourself. I don't want what happened to me or what has happened to other people because of him to happen to other people. And I don't believe he will ever stop behaving the way he does. But regardless, yeah, like I said, one of the main reasons I decided to do this stream is to come out about all of this because I can't hold on to it any longer because it feels wrong to do so. And an honorable mention reason for why I'm doing this is that for a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. I'm sure he's probably listening now, and it's probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet, okay?
And spoiler alert, by the way, he did exactly that when he was streamed.
So now that I've explained all the reasons why this took so long and why I made the decision to do this stream, I have a few more things I would like to get out of the way before I start talking about all of this. The way that I'm going to do this today is I'm going to run through everything from the beginning to the end.
Thank you for the raid study time. Thank you. Sorry for, we're talking about some stuff that's a little serious right now. Sorry if the vibes are a little bit different right now, but thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. We're talking about Emiru speaking out about sexual abuse from and sexual assault from Mizkif.
To try to get across the story as accurately and fully as I can. And, hold on. I'm also going to be showing a few screenshots validating what I'm saying. I have more things, but this is what I felt comfortable using today. And, I will be running through those later. Another thing that I'd like to mention before I start is that during my statement, I'm going to be mentioning directly the names of about half a dozen other creators who were present for certain things. And I want to say that none of these people did anything wrong. I'm just saying that they were there, and I've asked all of them permission. They all said that it was fine to include their names, but I know this won't stop everyone, but I ask people, for the streamers that I mentioned, please don't go bothering them or asking them for more information. If there's something else that they want to say, they'll say it themselves, so there's no point to go pester them and bother them about it. There are also streamers who gave me permission to share things that they relayed to me privately, but asked me to redact their names, which I, of course, did. And the last thing that I want to make clear is that not every person that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of all of these things. And in fact, most of them didn't. And some of them didn't even know anything at all. I tried to keep things private with my close friends, but if anyone during the past year ever approached me asking questions, I didn't lie and I told them the truth. But yeah, I don't want there to be some kind of witch hunt like, oh, you knew and this, no. A lot of people, didn't know everything or didn't know anything. Okay, I think that's all that I have to get out of the way to start. So, this is public information. I initially moved in, sorry, I'm still sick, like I said. Okay. This is all public, obviously this part. I moved in with him, I believe it was the end of 2021, because he offered, I was living alone at the time, and I was having stalker issues in Kansas, and I mean, you guys know like all the stuff that happened there. I ended up joining the org and everything. We did a lot of streams together, and I mean, a lot of people already know this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. We started dating. We were in a relationship starting January 2022 after I joined OTK. I'm not planning to go into too much detail about the start of the relationship because it honestly doesn't really matter at this point. It's irrelevant now. The only things that really matter that you guys need to know for the story are that it was, one, an extremely private relationship. It was even hidden from friends and people in the org, but I mean, obviously people all eventually figured it out. They're not fucking stupid. And second, it was an extremely codependent relationship, which is not the issue, but that's just, you know, making that clear for details. He initially portrayed himself to me as someone who was very nice to girls and wanted to help me feel safe from stalkers and wanted me to succeed as a teammate. And we grew very close over time, and I was very dependent on him for feelings of safety, social life, like my stream, my job, everything. So yeah, besides it being a very codependent relationship, the start of it was fine. I saw a lot of people mentioning this. They thought this was what I was going to talk about. It's not a secret. I think everyone who paid attention knew that he was very controlling over what I wore, to a degree, who I was friends with, and even when I would stream.
And by the way, we'll get to it, but he confirmed that he would tell her what to wear.
So when it was definitely slow over time that bad things started happening. At the start, it would be things like, for example, he would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruise very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, you know, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye, but he always, you know, was like, oh, it's an accident. And I was like, oh yeah, it's an accident. Like, you know, of course I'm not gonna think that, you know, I just, at the time, I just kind of was, you know, I just brushed it off. And looking back now, I feel like that was kind of the start of him testing my boundaries, if that makes sense. So that was already kind of starting to show signs within the first 6 months of me and him being close. And then,
and just spoiler, he says that he was only like he only ever threw his phone like at the bed. He wasn't throwing it at her. Like, she would be on the bed and he would throw his stuff there to go brush his teeth or whatever. And it's like, dog,
No,
who do you think you're fooling when we literally have clips of you throwing shit at your ex? Here is Maya on the bottom left at the time when Maya and Miz were dating.
Today.
Well, nobody asked you to, so.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
Look at her face. She's so uninterested.
She said no.
Maya unimpressed. That's what that was.
2 Starbucks bags of Starbucks I got you over the past.
Me when I'm normal. I'm upset, so here's your fucking Starbucks bags. Like, I don't know why I genuinely don't understand this attempt at like, no, I just happened to throw my phone at the bed and it hit her in the face. That was, you know, and it happened like once and it didn't happen ever again. And that was it. Yeah, a guy who definitely respects women and treats them well in private does this shit.
Oh.
Maya unimpressed. That's what that was.
2 Starbucks bags of Starbucks I got you over the past 2 days.
Oh my god!
Nice, Kip, that was
Throw
not
it back.
funny.
Throw it
Yeah,
back.
there better be. Oh my god, I would beat the shit out of him. We're live.
What the fuck?
We're live, she says.
He just did it accidentally. Yeah. And then also did it intentionally when he was doing it to Maya on stream. And it's like, if you do that shit on stream, you're doing it in private. And you're probably doing it worse in private. Like, I feel like when I was raised, I feel like my parents really drilled into my brain that you are part of society, act like it. That even if you have personal disagreements with, obviously never put your hands on someone. That's fucking step number 1. Never throw shit at someone. Step number 1. But past that point, we're talking about how people treat each other. How people engage with each other and talk to each other, right? That if you're a unit You should act like it in public. You should act like it in private, but everybody knows everyone in a relationship is going to argue. There's no such thing as being in a relationship and never having an argument. If you happen to be the one person that got in a relationship and has been in one for like 10 years or whatever, and you've never had a single argument with your partner, fucking, you know what? Congrats. You're the first relationship that has ever done that ever in the world. Mostly because it's awkward for everybody else. Because everyone else is like, ha 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 ha. That guy just threw stuff at you and is treating you like shit. Or like, dude, your girlfriend is kind of being a huge piece of shit to you. Ha 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 ha. And it's just cringe. It's just cringe. If you have a disagreement in public, it's not fair to like air out your fucking beef in front of everybody else. It's just not polite company. It's not a polite company thing to do. But if you don't care if you're at the point where you don't care how other people perceive you, whatever is happening in private is like a billion times worse. He only cares about his ego. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Again, a very public situation. The end of 2022, the cover-up allegations happened. I mean, yeah, like I said, all that's public. You can find all that, see like what I said during that, everything. After that happened, his behavior started getting a lot worse, which, I mean, I suppose it makes sense. You know, he was very stressed.
Also, I'm so sorry. I should have said this sooner, and I didn't say it sooner, and I apologize for not saying it sooner, but I'm going to try and like make up for it. Please do not bother Maya about any of this stuff. We can look at videos of Mitskip being a huge piece of shit to Maya, and we can recognize and contextualize his behavior with that. But please do not brigade her. Please don't tell her, like, speak up on this, speak up on this. Like, speak your truth. Like, why aren't you defending her? Like, why won't you talk about this? Like, what do you think about this? So did he abuse you? Don't do that. Please don't do that. She very clearly has, like, tried to move on to a new chapter in her life and is doing an amazing thing and doing amazing stuff with her sanctuary and is very happy. She raised like $500,000 for her sanctuary, which is just amazing. Like, please don't go bother Maya. Please, 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 please. You guys know how I feel about like getting other parties involved that are not directly involved here. And like, please don't bother her about it. She actually raised $1 million in 3 days. Whoa, that's amazing. That's really cool. Yes, please send it, Prophet. I will take a look at it. Oh yeah, I saw Cuco. We're going to talk about stuff with Cuco later. There's a lot of other people that have spoken as well. But yeah, just please don't bother Maya. I know personally that like she's like very happy with her sanctuary and she's doing what she loves and she's doing what she's always wanted to do. And that's the biggest reason that she was even excited to do streaming, because it was a way to like educate about animals and animal sanctuaries and be able to eventually do what she's doing now. She's such a normie. Bless her heart. She's such a normie. She's so normal. So yeah, please don't. If you feel the need to comment to her, just turn it into a donation instead. Exactly. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for understanding.
A lot of stuff was happening, but the bad behavior was ramping up.
How is Maya catching strays? She's not, but I just want to try and measure for it and make sure people don't go to her and say like, hey, can you speak up on this? Like, so did he abuse you? Like, what do you think about that? Like, people will speak on things when they feel comfortable and ready to speak on things, and you shouldn't force victims or potential victims. You shouldn't force them to speak on anything. And that's all I wanted to say. So.
And I feel like it's so apparent if like, you know, you go back and watch anything from that time. I tried so hard to help him and be there for him because I really believed in him. And I wanted him to, you know, get better and get back on his feet and be the person that, you know, I always believed that he was. But that, unfortunately, did not really happen. For a long time, I think about 1.5 years from when that all happened, it was kind of like slow things getting worse. But, I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna bother going into the details of all of that because there's just too much to cover, and it's honestly kind of not really relevant to the rest of what I'm saying because the rest of what I want to say is a lot worse. There was a point where things really took a turn for the worst. Like, it felt like, you know, like a very delicate branch just kind of snapped. So, and again, a lot of people are like vaguely aware of this, but I'll explain it for people who aren't, you know, chronically tapped into all that stuff. So for a long time after the like cover-up allegations happened, and he was like starting to kind of struggle on his stream. He never wanted to stream at the same time as me. Like, we really avoided it. And to me at the time, it made sense because, you know, I was like, well, of course, like, you know, we share a lot of community members. If we're live at separate times, we're both going to perform better. You know, it makes sense. But yeah, we were never really live doing the same thing at the same time for a long time, with the exception of like things like events or sponsors or like, you know, just special things for a very long time. And a lot of you guys probably noticed that I would only usually stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That was because of him, and now I stream whenever I want. But the first time that we ever streamed at the same time was for the 2024 Rust Kingdoms event on Twitch. We were sharing drops, so it was the first time in a very long time that we were both going to be live at the same time doing the same thing, basically. I know you're probably like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? But it'll make sense in a bit. So I'm live, he's live, we're both streaming, and like I said, you can go find all of this. This is public, there are clips of this. We're both streaming the Rust event, and I thought it was going really well. I thought everyone was having fun. I was like, oh, this is great. Everyone's, you know, doing the same thing at the same time. We're all hanging out, you know, we're gonna have fun. Like, I was really, really excited. And then I start seeing in my chat, people start saying unofficial Ms. Raid, and I'm like, what does that mean? And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me. He's saying like, Emmy, you know, I'm gonna kill myself. I waited, or I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc. And basically he was upset because I had higher viewership than him.
You could not make a more pathetic person if you tried. If you tried to invent a more pathetic person in a lab, you literally could not. Can you imagine your girlfriend is pulling like 20, 30,000 views on Twitch playing Rust and you're still butthurt? Like, you are a pathetic loser. It's giving the same vibe as like dudes that are like, I don't let my girlfriend wear heels because then she'll be taller than me. You got yourself a mountain and you're too much of a pussy to climb? Move out of the way, bitch. I'll climb. You clearly don't understand the treasure you have. I will. It's so soy. It is the most soy, pathetic, beta-ass shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, you are a child. You are a little child if you think this way. If you have, like, a beautiful girlfriend or a beautiful wife who does really well, or who's like tall or pretty or whatever, and you want to bring her down to your level instead of showing off how amazing she is. Because if you had any fucking brains at all, and if you could put your ego aside for 2 seconds, guess what? Who you date and the people that you're around make you better. It's such a green flag when, like, I meet someone and then the person that they're dating is really cool. And I'm like, damn, I like you more now because you pulled someone this cool. Imagine dating like a large female streamer and not realizing like, oh damn, you must be like realizing the status that comes, like even in the most shallow way, realizing the status that comes with that it's like, yeah, that's right, I can pull. Yeah, I can pull. Again, same thing with like dudes that don't let their girlfriend wear heels or whatever. You're dating a model who's taller than everyone else in the room, and instead of being like, yeah, that's what I pulled. Don't get too jealous, gentlemen. Don't get too jealous. Not all of us can pull Amazonians, all right? But maybe if you're real lucky and you play your cards right, you could be like me. But instead, you're just going to be like a little fucking soy beta-ass, bitch-ass loser sitting there sniveling in the corner like, why are you doing that? You're making me look bad. So pathetic. So pathetic. It's just so... I just don't get it. I just don't get the behavior at all. Bullying someone cool isn't the flex, holding on to someone is. I mean, yeah, obviously. Ugly behavior, yeah.
That's literally it. I had higher viewership than him.
Yeah.
And like I said, this
my steak is too juicy. My lobster's too buttery. Ugh. This sucks, dude. Move, bitch. Give it to me then.
was during an event, so there were drops. Like, everyone knows when there's drops, like, it's not even fucking real, but yeah. He starts messaging me, he's really upset. I tried to tell him, I was like, bro, you should come back and play. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's like wondering where you are. But yeah, he ended his stream. And then I'm still live, you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong. And in that house, I had a glass door so I could like see this was happening. He was walking behind me, making sure that I knew he was there. And by the way, so there were many ways out of that house if he wanted to leave the house that were closer to his stream room. He intentionally chose the door that was right by my room. I feel like that's pretty apparent, at least to me. He starts walking behind my stream and slamming the door so loud that my noise gate can pick it up. So even people on my stream are able to hear this is happening. And he slams it so hard and so many times that the front door literally broke. The lock did not work anymore. It didn't work for months, and it would just make this horrible sound that I would have to hear like every fucking day. But anyway, so I hear him back there doing this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I tell my stream, I'm like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I get up and I go talk to him, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, Emmy, like, I hate all of you guys. Like, all you guys do is just take from me, and like, I'm just done. Like, I'm just done. And I was like, is this like really happening because of rush drops? And he was like, I don't know what else to do. He was like going off on me, like basically saying that he hated me. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. And he was like, go finish your stream so that people don't know anything's wrong. And I stop in the bathroom outside my stream room, and I'm like, you know, checking my makeup, trying to make sure people can't tell that I was like crying. And I'm only in there for like 30 seconds, and he comes and like looms in the doorway. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just checking my makeup. So I go back and I stream for a couple hours, finish the stream, do my best to just like, you know, carry on the show basically. And yeah, after that, like I said, was when things started to get really fucking bad. It was like something just snapped. For the rest of the week, he streamed the Rust event. He got all the drop viewers. I'm sure he was very happy. I mean, good for him. And during that time, I obviously was like thinking and processing a lot of what happened. But I mean, it was a lot because...
And so people, thank you for posting it. I was just about to show it. Two things. One, people have found clips of this incident. And two, people have found clips of like him engaging in this behavior about being a fucking beta because he can't handle that the women he dates are successful. So if, in case you were like, I don't know, Mizkif doesn't strike me as that type of person that would be insecure because his girlfriend was doing well. First of all, I have a bridge to sell you. Holy shit. If you can't spot a Napoleon complex like this, you never will. But two, for the non-believers, please, here, allow me to show you this.
I don't have more viewers when I'm doing sponsors at my desktop.
I was just so
You
quiet.
had 7,000 viewers when you were playing the crane game.
I had 14,000 this morning IRLing at the nonprofit.
Okay, I didn't need to hear that.
He gets upset when I succeed.
No, okay. I used no. I used to get upset. I'm not kidding you, chat. I used to legitimately get fucking pissed because I'm like, are you fucking serious? I brought this bitch into the world, and now all of a sudden she's fucking growing faster than I was. Because I was going like this, and she was going like this. And I'm like, what the hell is this crap? What is going on here? It's the fucking Babsity effect. So I was pissed. I'm like,
The fact
you were such a
say
pussy.
the fact that you can say that and feel like it's okay that you felt that way and just be like, yeah, I was like that. Like, that is crazy. That's bad.
Is it bad?
Yes.
And guess what? I don't care anymore.
Maya's like, actually, you're a fucking crazy person, by the way. I don't know how many times I have to explain this to you. You sound insane. You know there are inside thoughts, right?
That's bad.
But I don't care anymore. And I stopped caring.
He's okay as long as I never have more viewers than him. If I ever surpassed him in viewership, which will never happen.
Oh, she'd be done.
he would
I'd
be
pull the plug.
He could not take it. He could not.
I'd pull the plug.
Which I kind of understand.
Chat, it's like if she beats me in Mario 64. That's literally what it'd be like if she has more viewers. It would feel like she 2-0'd me, and I would just not have that.
My lobster is too juicy. Sorry, my steak is too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. My wallet is too fat and heavy. My weed is too loud. Imagine dating a woman who is successful, beautiful, smart, fun to be around, and can beat your ass in video games, and you're still complaining like a little soy baby bitch. Actually, the most pathetic behavior I have ever seen in my fucking life. Who wouldn't want a successful, beautiful, and smart girlfriend? This fucking loser, because he needs to feel above her. He needs to feel above the people that he dates, because that's the only way he can build his fucking pathetic ass ego. I think it comes from the fact that once they get bigger than him, he's scared he won't have control over them anymore. Well, no, it's that he's insecure that he has nothing to offer once they are doing better than he is. That one, he can't get away with as much shit, and he wants to be this douchebag and he wants to get away with it. But also, two, that he has nothing outside of that. It's pathetic. And the chatter said, you can have weed that's too loud though, Denim. That's true. When the paranoia sets in. Monka. That's true. That one is valid, actually. So, it's just so, like, my brain can't comprehend it. Like, I don't understand a universe where you're upset because your partner is doing better than you. Like, it's so insane to me. Like, I can, like, read, I can understand it, but I can't ever feel it. Like, I can read someone's explanation of why they feel that way and why it makes them insecure and why it impacts them negatively and be like, you're an idiot. What the fuck is, like, skill issue. Grow up. And then this was someone, these people working fast, dude. So, and this is what I've been saying. Like, the problem with Misgift is that everybody fucking hates him. Like, he's been such an irritable or irritating douchebag for so many years that tell me how people collected this goddamn 3-minute compilation in a couple hours. And this is of the Rust stream that Emiru was talking about, where she says that, like, they start the stream, the vibes are all really good, and then she surpasses him in viewership, and then the vibes get totally fucked. He ends stream for no reason. And then he starts, like, slamming the door. And then she has to, like, leave for, like, a bathroom break and then come back. And here's the collection of clips.
Today is the Rust server. Chat, I'm excited. We got some stuff, dude. We're gonna start talking to people again. We're gonna hang out a little bit.
Got raw pork.
I'll fucking take it.
Would you like some raw pork?
Yeah, I'll fucking take raw pork. Hell yeah.
Mizkiff is sitting at 13,000 viewers, and she's sitting at 7,000 viewers.
Enjoy.
So I thought, why not build a house up here?
Yes. I can pay rent in your house.
Okay, let's do it. Yep. Oh, wait, check this out. Come here.
Ooh.
Not
Like,
bad,
that's
huh?
The house?
And then she surpasses his viewership. So he has 19,000 and she has 25,000.
Wait, our houses literally look exactly the same.
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah.
She says hello because he walks into the building and closes the door behind him so she can't get in.
I want to see Emmy. I can't believe you guys are doing separate houses.
Biggest sweats, you retard.
They will come after you guys.
They're the biggest
we
sweats.
can stop them early.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it, dude. We'll join the resistance. You're spelling it wrong. Yeah, my bad. No, I hardly slept last night.
Not the Pepe lap. Alinity raids Emiru with 5,000 viewers. So now Emiru is sitting at 30,000 viewers and Miz is still under 20k.
That's why I seem tired today.
And like, if anyone in here is thinking, how are you crashing out because you have 20,000 viewers? Yes. Yes. How?
Because I'm honestly fucking tired, chat. I'll be honest. I'm pretty tired. I'm just tired. All right, chat. I'll see you guys later. I will see you guys probably tonight, if not tomorrow. I just need a nap. I'm fucking zooted out of my mind.
What does unofficial Mizraid mean?
Guys,
Oh, he dead?
Listen, why are we all acting like we haven't murdered? Like we haven't pillaged? Like we haven't had
And if anyone missed it, that's him slamming the door and then she jumps at the slam door noise.
to do what we had to do to make it here where we she had a one-hit advantage. She was coming after me. I had to attack back.
What the fuck is this?
What are you? Was that a test?
You said
Well, I have some cloth in my house.
Here is slam. Every time he slams the door, she jumps. Like she literally is flinching and you can hear the door getting slammed. And most streamers that try and... If you tune into someone's stream and their audio is usually pretty good and it doesn't peak and stuff, it means they put in a little bit of effort into their stream. So like, I think I have a pretty okay noise gate. And I try to like, you know, have my stream audio not be totally terrible for audio files, because I agree. Stream audio does kill me. If you can hear a door slam with the noise gate, it makes sense why she's flinching. If it's that loud through the noise gate, think of how loud it is in person. And like, admittedly, I will sometimes accidentally slam doors. You know, you ever like totally zoning the fuck out, but you're just so yoked. Not literally, but you're just so yoked. You like push a door and it like fucking slams. Like, I would look past one of them, because sometimes you do accidentally just like close the door way too loud. And whenever I do that in front of other people, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to slam that door. Sorry. I did not mean to do that. But the fact that it keeps happening over and over and over and over again, it's intentional. It's intentional. Because maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but the few times where I've accidentally closed the door around someone and I don't want them to think I'm like slamming it in their face, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Sorry. Sorry. And I try to be like cautious the next couple times because I don't want the other person to think that like I'm trying to slam the door in front of them or at them or anything like that. Because it's such a form of disrespect, slamming a door at someone. To do it multiple times like that is like, can I get a TLDR? Basically, they're doing this. Emiru is alleging that during the course of their relationship, he wouldn't let her stream on days and times that she was streaming. She was only allowed to stream when he wasn't live because then he would get insecure about her viewership being higher than his. And so this is the first stream they had done in a while where they were both live at the same time. And as soon as she surpassed him in viewership, he started throwing a fucking little bitch-made fit. And then he starts like slamming the door so loud that you can hear it on the fucking mic through the noise gate, and she literally flinches, and she goes from like she'll be having a good time and like smiling and stuff to like totally straight faced and serious and like looking over her shoulder and stuff.
Let me check my body.
Over viewer count, yes. He was upset because he had 20,000 viewers and she had 30,000. And he was slamming it hard enough, oh yeah, that he broke the door. You know, Denims, I like everything you're saying, but sadly you're at 6.5k viewers, and that's 6,499 viewers in me, so I gotta go. So true, honestly, true. So true.
Anyone loot me?
Yeah. Go to the restroom real quick. Right
There you go.
Yeah, she's trapped now.
Fine, look what I did.
Sick. Okay, sick. Okay, I'm stuck in here. Okay, sick.
I'm gonna make some steps.
Hello, sorry.
And then she comes back
20 minutes.
after 20 minutes.
Hello. Abaragi, thanks for the sub. But alright, yeah, I'm gonna log out for now, but I'll probably come back later. And if not today, then tomorrow my normal time, so.
Yeah, we'll go over that in a little bit, Eddie. I'm trying to go like, I'm trying to let Emiru tell the story and just provide clips of context to show and to back up all the things that she's saying that are true. So,
This person was at the
she talked about all of this, and someone put together that selection of clips that literally shows everything she said about that was true, and that like there are literally clips of him talking about how he gets insecure because if someone he's dating gets more viewership than him, because of someone he's dating getting more viewership than him.
I'm like kind of it was like my partner and my best friend and like the only person that like I really talked to ever, or like at least off stream. So I mean it was a lot. But the very next stream I went live about a week after that, and I announced that I was planning to move because I knew that I would have to move. So I was like, okay, I have to go live and say this so that, you know, kind of force myself to commit to it, right? Does that make sense? Obviously, I didn't move out right away, but after like all of that Rust stuff happened was when the other domestic abuse stuff really started. He would destroy furniture in front of me. He would throw things in front of me and near me. Destroy walls. Again, you can go see this in some of his VODs in his bedroom. The holes in the wall. There would be times where he was upset at me and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. And at the time, he also would more often do things like going, like if we were driving in the car together, he would be going like 150 miles an hour, and like one time he even said like, well, now we're both gonna die, like threatening to kill both of us. And this wasn't like even necessarily because of me or like because of something I did a lot of the time. Like one of the times that it happened, it was because we were just getting food and he was on his phone and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video, and Mr. Beast had invited another streamer, and he was like, oh, Mr. Beast.
Really quickly, her talking about Miskiv driving 150 miles per hour in his car, and then saying like, haha, I'm gonna kill us. I'm gonna kill both of us, haha. Just so happens to line up with this story that Maya's told on Wine About It many years ago about someone she happened to date who did this.
She says.
Anyway, there's something about being trapped in a car with an angry, aggro man that is like the absolute most helpless thing. Dude, I did a guy that would go like 100 miles an hour on the, like we would fight in the car, which was never my decision. Like it just always like happened. Like we just would like fight in the car, and then he'd go like 100. And I would like literally like beg him to slow down. I'd be so scared and I'd cry, and then he would not slow down until I apologized. Whoa. So then I started driving only. Like I wouldn't let him drive me anywhere. But then if we'd get in a fight while I was driving, he would like pound my ceiling in my glove box.
Ooh,
He would like
that's scary.
scream and like hit the ceiling and like hit the glove box and just like scream profanity and scream like he would like just call me terrible things while he was doing it. And then I'd pull over and be like, get out of my car, and he'd be like, no. And then I was like, well, okay. Because what am I gonna do?
Yeah, what are you
What am I gonna do?
I wonder who she could have been talking about. It could have been anyone, for sure. For sure, it could have been anyone. The guy with anger issues punching holes in the wall. That definitely isn't someone who would do that. Ha 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 ha.
Just invited this guy to his video, not me. And I was like, oh, well, you know, like, huh, yeah, I guess so. Which led to him going 150 miles per hour in the car and talking about killing himself while doing it. And then at home, other things would happen. Like, I'd be trying to sleep and he would scream at me and say that it was all my fault that he felt insecure. There was a time that I walked into a room that he was in, and as soon as he saw me there, he threw his phone at the dresser and started yelling because I had posted a YouTube video within the same couple of days as him, and mine was doing better. So basically, I felt like I was kind of stuck in a loop where I felt like I had to constantly perform and like prove my value to not be thrown away. But at the same time, if I ever performed too well, I was gonna be punished for it. And it just felt like a very rough situation to be stuck in because, I mean, streaming is my hobby and my job. Like, it's a huge part of my life, even before, you know, I met him and became like a larger creator.
Like, how? I can't get over how much of a fucking beta you have to be. If you know you are going to get jealous and insecure and envious because your partner might do better than you, then don't date a fucking streamer. If you know that this is some problem that you refuse to sort out in therapy, because sometimes men just be punching holes in their wall and going 100 miles per hour instead of going to therapy, then don't date a fucking streamer.
And I remember thinking all the time how it felt like he hated me, but he still wanted me around for his channel and like his thumbnails and everything. And this is still before I moved out. There was a time where it was the tension in the house was so unbearable that I would sneak out and I would sneak into Esfan's house using my code. And Esfan didn't know why I was doing this. He saw me a couple times. I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go take a nap in your guest room. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I would sneak into Esfan's house just to have some time of like peace and quiet. But eventually, he figured out where I was going and he would go over to Esfan's house to keep telling me off. And there was a time that he did it, and I was laying in the guest room bed, and one of the roommates in that house had come to see like why I was crying, and they were standing in the corner, and he came in, and he was very physically aggressive. He was like, Emmy, like, what are you doing? Like, angry. And then as soon as he turned and saw this other person standing there, he instantly like deflated and changed his tone. He was like, oh, Emmy, I was wondering where you were. Like, are you coming home? And that roommate like later asked me about it. And they were like, what the fuck was that? Like, are you okay? And I was just like, oh, it's nothing, because I felt like a lot of the reason that I didn't tell the people around me was because I felt like no one would understand, or even if they understood, it would just be a burden to them, because all of our streams and social circles and communities are so intertwined. I was like, maybe it's just better for me to deal with this and like hope things get better, basically.
And it's really funny because you know that he justifies his behavior by saying, like, when he does it on stream, you know that he's like, well, I was just joking on stream and that's why I did it. When I was acting like a piece of shit on stream, it was a joke. I was joking around. But as soon as it's a private circumstance or like a private situation, and then you realize it's not a one-on-one, it's like, oh, I can't just say I was joking.
I honestly don't even remember what the final straw was that I finally was like, okay, it's time to go. Like, I prepared the house that I lived in before this one, like, pretty much immediately after the like breaking the front door thing happened, but I was still like scared and unsure. So I don't remember what the final straw was, but I remember the day I took Cheddar to the house, because he just randomly started like screaming at Cheddar. He was like, get that fucking cat out of my house. So I just grabbed Cheddar and put him in my car and grabbed his litter box and took him there, and I just left him there and never took him back to that house. And then I think like within several days after that was when I finally moved out. It was on very short notice. Like I said, I don't even remember what the final straw was because so many things happened, but there was a time when I just knew. I called some movers. I said, hey, can you come tomorrow? And they were like, yeah, and then I literally moved the next day. Moving out into the last house that I lived in was a huge step mentally because, like I said, a big part of why I moved into the first house in Texas in the first place was because I felt like it was the safest option for me because, you know, I am a girl where it's like kind of scary for me to be living alone. So it was very hard. And at the time, even though like all these other things had already happened, I was very hopeful that me and him could be cordial and like things would be fine, at least publicly, like for stream reasons, that, you know, everyone could just keep streaming like nothing had happened. And, you know,
because I will say it's the most annoying thing on the planet when you as a creator, if you have like a personal falling out, and it doesn't have to be over anything serious, it can be something small that just, it doesn't necessarily mean that either of you are bad people. It just means that your personal relationship didn't work out, whether that's friendship or anything else. And it sucks when that shit ruins events or other people involved. Because like imagine if you're Will Neff and you're an OTK and you're like, this org is so much fun and it's so great, and then you find out that all these people are like sexual predators and like none of these people like each other, and you're like, I was hoping we could do this event, but if I invite this person I can't invite these people, and if I invite this one these people won't come, and these people won't show up in the same room, and these people will only show up if this person's in the room. So like I think it's very reasonable in Emiru's position to be like, I just want things to be amicable because I don't want to make other people stress about like, well, if I get invited then Miskiff can't get invited, or if Miskiff gets invited I can't get invited, or whatever. So if we could just get along, that would be great, because then everybody can just keep doing what they want to do and I don't have to burden anyone with all this shit.
At the time I thought that would be the best thing.
Is Will still an OTK? No, he left. Reasonably so.
To do, and I felt like if I, you know, separated myself from him without explaining anything, people that watched us wouldn't understand and would attack me. I was, yeah, I mean, it ended up happening anyway, so. But yeah, after I moved out, we, like I said, still kept in contact. I had hope that somehow things would get better. He would always beg for me to come back, and he would promise therapy and change and like even talk to other people and like kind of present like, oh, I want to change, I want to be better for Emmy or whatever, you know. There was a short period in October where we had broken up because, I mean, honestly, doesn't.
I stopped using Twitch for years because it's unbelievable how many terrible creators get unmasked. I mean, like, so I've talked to Anissa a lot about this, and there are like really good videos and like interviews that iDubbbz has done about like his experience in the content space and his experience being like a creator with a really large audience that became beholden to that same audience. And the way that they talked about it is just if you have nothing, so you're not particularly gifted in any way, you're not like jacked, you're not like super smart, you're not super wealthy, like you don't really have anything that like makes you you, or that you feel like makes you you. And then you get all this dopamine from being a big creator, and all these amazing things come in because you're a big creator. You build your entire identity and your entire like you start to believe that all your value comes from your viewership and from your identity. That's why, by the way, when Twitch started cracking down on view botting, guess whose viewers were hit first? Miskiff's, because it was an open secret that Miskiff was botting like crazy. Because in his head, the only thing that validates him as a person is that he has an audience on Twitch and that he's a successful streamer that gets lots of viewers. And anything that jeopardizes that jeopardizes his identity, because he doesn't exist outside of his Twitch stream. He thinks that the only reason that he can be valuable as a person is because of his viewership. And it's a good fallback because it's like, whatever, people don't have to like me, but they have to respect and fear my viewership. And that's a lot easier to deal with, like mentally, than trying to improve who you are as a person. That's why so many people cope and they're like, women don't date me because I'm 5'9" and women only date tall dudes. And it's like, no, dude, you know how many short dudes I have met with crazy riz that pull insane? Like they all they do is pull. Okay? When they work out, they're like, push. What the hell is that? I only pull. Okay? This idea that you have to improve this thing that seems difficult, your personality, and getting people to actually like who you are. It's so much more difficult than just being like, no, it's because everything else is wrong and because people only like me because of this and people only like me because of that. And even in my personal interactions with Miskiv, he's so like viewer brain rotted. He genuinely thinks that the only reason people talk to him and the only reason people have ever liked him and the only reason anyone has ever associated with him and has treated him with any respect ever is because of his viewership. He literally cannot understand that anyone in his life ever at any point wanted to hang out with the best version of Miskiv, where he was, and the best version of Miskiv is when he was sitting at the top and he didn't have ego issues and he didn't have to worry about being jealous of other people because his viewership was higher than other people. He got to be the best version of himself because he wasn't feeding into all the toxicity and negativity and everything. He was just like a fun clown or whatever. I was never a huge Miskiv fan, to be honest. I tried to watch the stream. I thought it was kind of boring, but I was like, whatever. There's lots of streams that are, a lot of people think are entertaining, but I don't find entertaining and I think they're boring. Or like, I just don't like watching them for X, Y, and Z reason. It doesn't mean that the stream is bad. It's not my specific cup of tea, right? It doesn't matter how good like a chess streamer stream is. I'm not going to watch a chess streamer. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I got to go get bitches, man. I'm sorry. I can't be caught watching pawn go to D4 or whatever the fuck. Okay. I'm sorry, man. Not anything. And I love chess streamers. So many chess streamers. Lots of love in my heart for them, especially. Anyways, I was just going to say chess streamers have the most beautiful women in them, but that's all of Twitch. So I was taking back my words. But anywho, what's a chest streamer? Me. That's me. What was I trying to say? Right. So he has like this crazy ego and but the problem is that like he doesn't reel in the ego and he doesn't know what the fuck to do if he exists as a person without a stream. Like he literally doesn't know how to handle that world. And it's because he had so much success so quickly that he doesn't know how to like act gracefully despite not necessarily having that success now. You know who's an example of someone who acts very gracefully? Myth. Myth had like a crazy blow up. There's a really good video on it. It's like, it kind of made me tear up a little bit, but Myth had a crazy blow up because of Fortnite because he was just so cracked and he was just so addicted to streaming Fortnite. And he's a really good entertainer. Like he is genuinely very entertaining. But when Fortnite kind of fell off, he kind of fell off a little bit. And he's always acted with so much grace and maturity. Like the M in Myth stands for mature. And the M in Mizkiv stands for man-child. And like even I've seen like Myth's tweet where he's like tweeting about how he's excited that his videos are getting like 3,000 views. It's like, dude, you get it. You fucking get it. And that's why people like Myth, because he's fun to hang out with. He doesn't make everything about viewership. He doesn't have this massive ego. Like he understands, sometimes you're doing well, sometimes you're not doing well. And that's okay. We're all sitting on piles of money that other people will never have in this fucking country because it is a shithole country. People don't have healthcare and you're gonna fucking weep into your $100 bills. Grow the fuck up. Like literally grow up. And I would say Myth's mental on that makes a lot of sense. He got his YouTube bag. It killed his viewership a little and he's like, you know what? Whatever. I'll cry into my millions of dollars. I don't care. There's so much to be grateful for. Unless all you can do and all you can think about is what you don't have.
Matter now. And when that happened, I honestly felt relieved because I was like, okay, finally, it's like on his terms. So that means he'll be satisfied and he'll be able to say it was his choice and he'll leave me alone. Because whenever I would try to push for it, it just felt like I couldn't like really sever it, if that makes sense. But I mean, obviously, hence he doing this stream, that was not the end of it. A week after this breakup, he asked to come over to my house and talk for closure. He came to my house and I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by...
As a lot of people in chat are talking about, content warning and like trigger warning. She just talked about sexual assault here. So if that's something that's a little heavy for you, it's maybe a good idea to mute or like just prep or whatever, you know, would make you comfortable. But yeah.
Hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying, and he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, and instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us, or like, you know, making things weird for viewers. I know that probably sounds crazy, but like, I just felt this pressure, like I had to try to keep things together, if that makes sense.
And I've already seen at least one stupid comment saying, "There's no proof, question mark." Like, I hate you, and you are everything that is wrong with society, because not only are you an asshole, but you're also a fucking idiot, because if you spent even 2 seconds looking into this, he admitted to doing this. Moron. And he defended it because he was like, "Well, I jumped off her immediately and I didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, here's the thing, in a vacuum, or like maybe not in a vacuum, but in different contexts or in different circumstances, you're not like a predator for misreading something or misreading the room or like misreading the vibe of something. Like, that doesn't make you an assaulter or an abuser or a sexual predator. That if you thought that there was an opportunity or that someone was initiating something or whatever, it's that, like, if you are genuinely afraid because the person that you're talking to or the person you're around is prone to violent bouts of anger and has said, like, "I'm gonna kill myself," and like punches holes in walls and drives at fucking 100 miles an hour or 150 miles an hour and talks about how he's going to kill both of you, I think it is very reasonable to be afraid in that moment. The concern is when you don't feel comfortable to say no, when you're scared because you know the person you're dealing with is prone to these insane bouts of anger where you know that they can get violent, where they throw things at you even though they know you're going to bruise, and they gave you a fucking black eye with their phone and then has the audacity to be like, "I didn't know I was going to..." When you're dealing with someone like this, where... Sorry, I want to find this. When you're dealing with someone who acts like this...
Okay.
Look at her face. She's so uninterested.
No.
Maya unimpressed. That's what that was.
2 Starbucks bags of Starbucks I got you over the past 2 days.
Oh my... When that's the type of person you're dealing with and you genuinely are afraid, that changes things so dramatically, it's obscene. If you don't know if someone is going to get violent, it takes a situation that otherwise could have been a misunderstanding into something actually genuinely terrifying. And that's on top of the fact that why are you trying to do sexual things with someone who's fucking sobbing? Like, literally, holy shit. So if one of those things wasn't bad enough on its own, you have to put on top of that the fact that this is someone who's genuinely afraid of this other person. If you don't know how someone's going to react and you don't know if they're going to get violent or they're going to get aggressive or they're going to throw stuff at you, it is completely understandable that you would scream and be like, "What? Like, what the fuck are you doing?" And I really want to stress, it's like, it's not the fact that someone can misread a situation. You're not like a predator for that. It's all of these things compiled on top of each other that make this fucking insane. And make it very obvious that, like, you're reaching out to this woman who left you, who's not interested in you, and you think that you can prey on her when she's in a vulnerable state, when she's crying and she's dealing with this shit show that is all of these fucking stalkers and freaks in her life, and you see that as an opportunity to, like, fuck her. On top of being a violent, aggressive person. Within the context, because, surprise, things don't exactly exist in a vacuum. That's assault, dude.
Yeah, I felt like I'd cause trouble for so many other people if I ever said anything bad about him, or if I caused rifts in our friend group or streamer group. I tried to stay on good terms with him and hold everything in, and also I still cared about him a lot, and I still at that point had hope that things would get better and that, you know, he would improve. And he'd also always hammer into me how he never physically abused me because he never hit me. And he would coach me and tell me to tell people.
That's good. That's good. When you have to tell your ex-girlfriend to tell other people that you never hit her, that's how you know you're a good guy, by the way. Famous good guy quote, make sure to tell people I never hit you. Yeah, I'll take things normal people don't say for 1,000.
Or other streamers who were asking about it because they were concerned. He would say, tell them that I never hit you. Make sure that they know that I never hit you. Around the same time, this was during OnlyFans 2, so I guess like December-ish. He would often message me in the middle of my streams and berate me for things like playing the same class as him in WoW because he thought it would make people think that—
very Steven Crowder going through a divorce. There was never any physical abuse. It's actually giving. That doesn't work for me either.
I was better than him. And again, like I said earlier, I felt like I was stuck in a constant loop where I had to perform well to not be thrown away. But if I performed too well, I was going to be punished. And I actually wanted to show some of those messages because obviously a lot of these things, I'm not gonna fully read these out because I honestly just don't want to read them out, but I feel like I want to show them to like kind of show what I'm saying.